Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Pick and Roll Podcast, episode number 88. We are 12 away from 100. I'm here with my guys, Blaze Radio, Nikki Steed, and Coach Ed Glanding. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Doing good,
All
man.
right.
How are
I was
you?
trying to think of something funny for 88, but I couldn't really think of it. My
88, doing great.
I think of Lynn Swan as soon as I think of 88.
Mhm,
Oh, yeah?
mhm.
There you go.
But I know this is basketball. I don't want to go football on you.
No, whenever I think of 88, I just go 2 more than 90 or whatever. So it's just like,
That's true too.
I don't really remember anything, but yeah, so let's just get right into it. And Stephon Marbury had a couple of things to say about Tyrese Halliburton. So give me a second while I pull this up. Twitter's not
second
working
is
for me
done.
as of right now.
Your second is
go
done.
for it.
You're late.
Yep. Seconds
Yep,
up.
I'm always late. I'm always late. Yep. And then here we go. So in the beginning, he talks about how the Phoenix Suns need a scoring point guard next to Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant in order to reach the next level. They need a scoring point guard. They need a guy that can get them going, but can really get them go too. Like the kid that plays for Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. He didn't play in Olympics that much this year, but if he gets stronger, oh my, he will be off the hook. So we're going to start off with Nikki here. What do you have to say about Stephon Marbury giving Halliburton some praise?
I mean, for Halliburton, it's nice that you're getting praise from a former star, one of the most recognizable names of the late 90s and the early 21st century, and Stephon Marbury. However, the comments itself are a different story. The suggestion that he would get traded to the Suns to join Booker, Beal, and KD is ludicrous because in order for that to even happen, the Suns would have to give up one or two of those pieces to the Pacers just to get Halliburton. You couldn't even do that on 2K without getting rid of one of your big three guys if you're the Suns. So it's like the idea that Steph is putting out there that, yeah, you could add him to the big three, that doesn't work because they'd have to give up possibly two of those pieces to the Pacers just to have a shot at this trade happening, which is completely unrealistic, even on a video game.
I don't think
I don't
he
think
was.
me
I
either.
don't think
just
he was
gonna
meaning
say.
like an actual trade. I think he was just being hypothetical, like a Tyrese Halliburton, whose scoring power, his punch, and everything that he does on the court would be a good fit. But he's not talking about a trade. He was just talking about how good Halliburton has been. So,
But the
yeah.
suggestion that he could join the Suns is unrealistic. I think if
Yeah,
Harden was
that's
doing it to get some notoriety, just to get people talking, to get people to say, "Oh, what do you hear what Steph Marbury said about Tyrese Halliburton? What do you think?" type of deal.
yeah.
It's to
I
get
didn't
people
look at it that way at
talking.
all.
I don't either, Coach.
Game recognized game. That's one of the things I'm going to say about that. Halliburton, he's right. Halliburton does need to get a little bit stronger. I'm not saying he has to, be a bodybuilder, but there are times he can get muscled. So, but his range, his height, the way he plays the game, the passing lanes. I give the Pacers a difficult time, but that's also out of sign of respect. Halliburton is the truth, and coming out of Iowa State, I wanted the Knicks to get him. I did. I'm not gonna lie. So, and I think Marbury sees his game, the way he plays, his mentality is still growing. Now he's trying to, in a sense, especially against the Knicks, he's trying to play that villain role. But I think he's just doing that to generate the rivalry because he understands the history of the Knicks and the Pacers back in the day, especially with Reggie Miller. So and I think that's what he's trying to do. But again, with Steph, who's all Knicks, it's a sign of respect. So that's how I look at that comment there.
All right, Blaze.
I look at it as two separate comments. Number one, he is saying that the Pacers need a scoring. I mean, the Suns need a scoring point guard. They need a guy who can get them the ball. And then he said, like the kid from the Pacers. He didn't say get the kid. So he's saying someone like Tyrese Halliburton, which that's how I took it. And then as he brings up Tyrese, he goes on to compliment him. And like Coach says, recognizing game. He's saying that this is a real deal. And he was literally on Pat McAfee today, and they brought this up. And he goes, hey, it'd be nice, but Tyrese literally said, I ain't going nowhere. I'm here in Indiana. I'm a Pacer. And I really like players saying stuff like that instead of saying, oh, yeah, that'd be fun to play with those guys and this and that. Need a hypothetical like
That'd
you
be the stupidest thing you could do if you're Halliburton.
Why is that?
Because that could possibly put some of the Pacers players on edge. Like, wait, you're really thinking about that idea? That wouldn't.
No.
You're
totally wrong, Nikki. You're misreading the whole thing. I literally just said he's staying there. He's staying in Indiana. He's not even.
It would be stupid of him to suggest otherwise.
But this doesn't even suggest Halliburton going to the Suns at all. You're misreading
he's not
it.
Suggesting it either.
You're missing the point, bro. Anyhow.
No, he's just.
It has nothing to do with Tyrese Halliburton playing for the Suns. He's
not
complimenting him.
Just throw the Suns out of the picture. Just throw the Suns out of the picture.
That's
He
what
was
he's
just using
doing.
that as an example.
That's what Halliburton's doing. He's just saying, like, look, I'm staying here in Indiana. I like the praise, and that's all there is to say. No more, no less.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
All right, Blades, you were saying?
So he literally on, he loved the compliment. So he said to Steph, he loved hearing that from someone of Steph's stature, knowing that he's getting these compliments being named in, the best, some of the best of the best. Now, I've even said that I think the Pacers need an extra person for them to reach the next level, because as much as I love Halliburton and I love for him to prove me wrong, I don't know if he could be that go-to guy to close out games. He didn't show it last year as much, but he might be able to be that guy. Like right now, just because their names are both Tyrese, it's kind of weird, but those are two of my favorite players right now. Him and Maxey showed last year they improved, but will they make the elite? They're now all-stars. They'll be considered in that all-star conversation.
Yeah.
But can they make that next leap? And I'm watching them really closely, and I'm totally invested in them, physically, and I bought a bunch of their rookie cards because I think they're going to make that next step. So I'm confident because they've shown it. However, they talked about the Olympics too, and he was to be a team player like he was. Not to say I wish they would have played me more. He was just happy to be a part of the team. He didn't get to play hardly at all, but he was there. I mean, you got to look at someone like him and Ant and those guys. Ant got to play a lot more, but they're fresh to this conversation over the last couple of years as being the greats. And we talk about how the parity in the NBA and all these new stars coming up is just every 4 or 5 years, like it gets refreshed with all these stars. And that's why I love the NBA. And to see, as Halliburton has the ego, but he can also be humble about it by saying, yeah, I was with the Olympics. And he even kind of cut off McAfee and those guys and being like, they were like, well, didn't you want it? No, I was there. He's like, I got this. I have a gold medal. He's like, in 3 years, he plans on being there again, and he should be a bigger part of it. So, like I said, I split this right into two, talking about needing a scoring guard up top, and then complimenting Halliburton, which, like I said, to say game recognizing game, to hear Starberry there say Halliburton got it, and Halliburton's type of guy say he loved hearing that. I mean, it really affected him to hear guys put him in that conversation. So I'm a big fan of him. I really am. Like, I mean, the Sixers are my team, but I got my favorites around the league that really excite me. And I want to watch their games because they're exciting. And Tyrese Halliburton's definitely one of them.
Now, you did bring up something that I kind of want to add to. You were like, Tyrese Maxey or Tyrese Halliburton? Who's going to take that next leap? And in my opinion, I think it's Halliburton. Because with the Sixers, you have Joel Embiid, and Paul George, and you got a lot of other players that need the basketball. And then you look at Indiana. Yes, they have a big three, but it's more of his team.
Yeah.
Like the Sixers is more of Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
So I would not be mad.
I'd be afraid, Mitch, that Tyrese is going to – if he stays with the stats that he had last year, I'm happy with that. because
Oh,
now
me
you
too.
have PG next to you as well to pick up the slack. Like you said on your show the other day, if Embiid goes down, I don't think the Sixers fall off as much as they did last year because Paul George can pick up a lot of that slack. Now, Tyrese doesn't have to be the 30-point 10 guy anymore, but he can drop 50 when he needs to. So, yeah, I'm with you on that completely. Two Tyreses, but two different scenarios. I got you. I'm with you. I like that.
I'm just saying, in Indiana, it's Halliburton's team.
Oh,
With
wow.
Joel Embiid, he's going to be the number one option. He's going to be the number one. Now, if they have Maxey be the number one and have Joel Embiid get the numbers, that's a different argument. That's a different case. But that's not going to happen. Embiid is going to be the one, Maxey 2, Paul George 3.
Hopefully, all three can show that they can be number ones. You got Paul George blowing up this game, Maxey blowing up this game, Embiid blowing up this game. That would be the ideal scenario for the Sixers, which if that happens and they all stay healthy, they can go a long way this year. But that's a lot of ifs because we talked about it before. I saw one of the images where it said returning players for the year, and I didn't capture this image. But it's all the numbers, like someone had 8, someone had 12, and the Sixers had 5. So it's that's like a whole new team. So I'm gonna give them a month at least to try to mesh. But Mick, Sixers fans, they're gonna jump all over them if they start out 1-6 or something.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. I've been hearing bad takes like Tyrese Maxey going to be top 5 in MVP voting. Like, yeah. So
I would like it.
With so DeMar DeRozan was actually on Paul George's podcast, and then he said he considered the Lakers, Clippers, Heat, and Sixers before the Kings. So I'm like, I guess there wasn't a right deal in place. They weren't the right money, Coach.
He's talking to his. I muted him. Good.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think it's just a money and deal thing. So, yeah, Blaze, do you have anything to say about
that's what free agents do? It's they try the market. And
Yeah.
More importantly to me is the teams that he was considering. Now,
right?
Anybody in a free agency, which DeMar DeRozan, let's not mince words here. He could be a very good player. He already is. People were hype on him. I was hype on him coming out of college, but the Bulls have been the Bulls. But looking at Lakers, Clippers losing those two big guys, would he have fit in there? To work with those players. The Lakers, would he have improved what the Lakers got going on over there? He'd be a decent piece for the Heat. I think if we wouldn't have got Paul George, maybe DeRozan could have been an other exception, not quite at the level of Paul George, but he would have been another one they would have considered if they didn't get PG. But I look more at the teams that he was considering than him just testing the market, because that's what free agents should do. They go out and see what other teams might want him before ultimately joining the Kings, which I think might be a nice little fit for him. He doesn't have to be the number 1 or number 2. They have some big stars, plus they have a lot of young guys too. So I think that might be a nice mix for him. I'm rooting for him.
I really like the fit there because he's a mid-range assassin. You don't need him to shoot the 3. You just need him to get buckets, and that's what his specialty is. So, Coach, how do you feel about DeMar DeRozan choosing the Kings after all these other teams?
I mean, I get it. It makes sense. And that's opportunity. When you sit down and evaluate the other teams, the Lakers, I know the Lakers and Clippers hometown. Okay. The Heat, maybe him and Jimmy Buckets pretty much do the same thing. Sixers, over, I guess with the Sixers, was it about the money? That's the only thing I can think of. Because would he have been a good fit with you guys over there with Maxey and Embiid? So he's pretty much the same thing as Paul George. Who's older though? And I think he's older.
DeRozan is older, right?
Rosen, I think, is older. So, but Paul George, you got to deal with the injury history. So I guess you want to take that chance there. So they both do the same thing.
Very similar players. That's a good point, Coach. That's a very good point.
DeRozan is 35 and Paul George is 34.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty much
Yeah.
around the same age.
it means
both
it matters
veterans.
a lot in basketball, though.
Yeah,
In
both
basketball, it
veterans.
matters a lot. Yeah. So, Nikki, how do you feel about this, man? With DeMar DeRozan choosing the Kings
I mean, hey,
over?
DeMar DeRozan, he did what any player would do. He looked at his options. He decided the Kings were the right choice. Now, maybe on paper, it didn't seem like the most flashy choice compared to the other ones, but DeMar DeRozan, I guess, did what was right for him. A combination of money, fit, players. He's having chemistry with the players. He put, off a combination of those factors, felt Sacramento was the right place. It's hard to really judge because someone might think, oh, well, he could have done better here, he could have done better here, but that's just only a fan opinion.
Yep.
There's no way to really
And
tell.
I think he's from Sacramento, right? He's from the LA area,
I thought he was from
So-
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. So,
He went to
Yeah.
USC.
Yeah, LA
Yeah.
is further south. Sacramento is central California.
Now, I'm looking at their roster. Now, I don't know why they have Herter as the starting point guard. I believe Monk should start. Fox, Monk, DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and DeMontis Sabonis. That's a nice little starting five.
I like Monk as the sixth man. I think he was close to winning it, but they gave it to Naj Reid
Yeah.
last
And
year.
people like McDaniels, Trey Lyles, they got a couple guys that could fill in as well, too. So they might make a little noise this year. I think, like we were talking, DeRozan is a good fit there, I believe.
Yeah. The Kings were the highest scoring. Weren't they the highest scoring points per game? It was either them or Indiana. I know it's one of
I
those
thought it
two.
was Indiana. I thought it was Indiana. I mean, I might be
If
wrong.
it's Indiana or Sacramento, I know Sacramento is probably the fastest because of De'Aaron Fox, but
Well, they finished ninth last year at 46 and 36. So
Who? Kings?
Sacramento, yeah.
okay,
They might
so
be
it
able
was
to.
Indiana
They might be able to improve on that.
Never know. If DeMar DeRozan could give you 15 to 18 or even 18 to 20 points
Yeah.
per game, that would help a lot. That would move him up.
I mean, we just compared him to like the Sixer type thing, and I'd say the same thing for them. I mean, with they got a couple players like Sabonis could have a big game. Or, they have three players now that could lead that team in scoring, depending on the game and the situation. So that's a good thing to have. I mean, it's like we talked all this time about super teams and big threes going away. I think they've just become the norm. It's
Yeah.
like most teams have a couple stars or all stars. So it's not like it totally went away. It just kind of blended into the rosters. Now you see so many teams that have to juggle or have two or three former or present all stars. That's just better for the whole game of basketball, in my opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion.
So, Bonsai Wells says it was
Bonzi.
disrespectful.
He's not
Bonzi.
on a tree.
Sorry. I was just watching Karate Kid. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go.
But Bonzi Wells, there we go, said it was disrespectful that Steve Kerr played Drew Holiday and Derek White instead of Jason Tatum. And here we go again. Because honestly, Derek White and Drew Holiday, arguably one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. So Tatum, his time was taken by LeBron and all those guys. So
I should have worn my Bonzi Wells jersey, for goodness sakes. It even
You'll
has my
probably
name on the front. Blaze.
hey, there you go. But yeah, this whole thing is just about Boca. Yeah,
Bunch of
if you have
bullcrap
homegrown
baloney.
talent. Yep, exactly. Like this whole thing is just disrespectful. No.
Now this might be more of what Nikki was alluding to before. Someone like Bonzi Wells saying something outrageous to get his name in the news.
But yeah, for this is neither here or there. So hey, McStretty. And it's up, man. What is up? So Portland, yep. There you go. But Blaze, how do you feel about this? Like
Like I said,
it is what it is for me.
Yeah, I mean, people's opinions. Sometimes people value former players' opinions too much.
Yeah.
Just because they played the game doesn't mean their opinion is.
It's time to play the game.
Like we're in the world where younger people, when they talk about their opinion, they say facts. No, that's your opinion. This is his opinion. If he feels that way, then he feels that way. I'm not here to tell anyone how to feel, but is like a good old Philly halftime says, is his feelings hurt for some reason that he feels that two other people should have played and play? It's an Olympic team, people. Well, there's only 5 guys that play on the court, but you're putting together a super all-star team. Everyone's not going to play 15 minutes a game or more. There are players, and it's up to the coach. I have faith, being a former coach, always trying to respect my coaches, that the coach makes the right decision based on what he sees in practice, what he sees, what they're going up against. I'm not going to second guess it. I mean, that's his opinion. That's his freaking opinion.
Yep. Nikki, how do you feel about this?
He can feel however he wants to feel, but it's still dumb. It doesn't make sense because Team USA went on and won the gold medal, the lineup they had. It's not Coach Kerr being disrespectful. It's him putting out the lineup that would give him the best shot of winning the gold, and that's what ended up happening.
Yep.
All there is to say about it.
Jade.
Hey, Jade, how's it going? But, yeah, Coach, how do you feel about this with Bonzi? See, I said it.
You okay, Coach?
No.
Coach, you okay there?
That's what I think about it.
When you're not on camera, I don't know what that was.
Okay, you want me to be on camera when I did it?
If I see the raspberry, that's a
okay. That's how I think about what he says. I mean,
I'm with you.
You guys said it best, man. I mean, coaches out there trying to put the best players out there to win the gold medal. That's what it boils down to. Sorry, sometimes you know what, you don't fit at that moment. It was about matchup sometimes, and Derek White and Drew Holiday. First of all, isn't Tatum a small forward, power forward, or 3-4 in a sense?
Yeah.
While
Yeah.
the other two are point guard and off guard. So
Yes.
if you're going to say, well, they were in different positions, so how is that disrespectful? But who am I? I don't play in the NBA.
So,
Never did.
Here's my thought too. And Coach, I'm sure you'll agree with me on this one. Players don't always make the best coaches.
No.
So
No.
I don't know if Bonzi Wells has ever been a coach. I'm trying to look it up. But with an attitude like that, I don't know. Like Coach just said, we dispelled it. It's like, number one, it doesn't make much sense when they're different positions, different types of players. And I don't know. It's just, I'm with you on that one. Next.
I find it extremely ironic that strap-on spell backwards no parts. Okay,
Jade has a lot of very interesting comments when she comes in.
got it.
She also might fart.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
All right.
All right.
Next.
So, speaking of farts, the Chicago Bulls are working on mending their relationship with Zach LaVine. And to me, this is hilarious. The Bulls are better without Zach LaVine.
But why wouldn't you try? I'll play the other side of the coin. Why wouldn't you try to mend a relationship? He ain't going nowhere.
He's not going anywhere. I agree with you on that, but it's just like no one's taking a contract. That's it. They put themselves in the corner with that contract.
Yeah, definitely.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
wasn't.
Okay.
I guess it wasn't me.
Alrighty then. But please, you better not. I'm right here.
Fasten your seatbelt for the fasten your.
Okay.
Now I know that it's played. But yeah, Zach LaVine, it's just like you got rid of DeRozan, you got rid of Drummond. They should have done this like during the trade deadline. Now Zach LaVine, it's not gonna work.
Maybe it
They
will.
backed themselves into a corner.
Maybe it will work. Maybe he'll be better without DeRozan. I mean, I don't know. I'm just playing the other side of the coin. I'm with you on it, but I'm just saying, what if the moves they made and now they're mending this relationship? Zach LaVine has a resurgence in his career this year. What if? I mean, we can't say he's not talented. Overpaid, yes. They can't bring in other people because of that contract, yes. But we can't say he's not talented. I'm always rooting for them players to have comeback seasons. maybe he is the comeback player of the year this year, and he does lead the Bulls in scoring, and they still suck, but he could have a good season.
Wait. You're saying he's comeback player of the year, not Ben Simmons?
Or Jordan Poole. I'll throw that back at you every time.
Even in a basketball
See?
podcast.
Gade knows. There you go. Number 24 out of 500. All right.
That is honestly too low. It's too low. But that's an argument for another day. So, Nikki, how do you feel about Zach LaVine? Because once I put this in the group chat, you were laughing.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I was laughing. And the reason why is because they were initially so desperate for a trade from what we were told. We don't know how true that is, but if we're going off what we're told, I do believe they were at least trying to find a trade and they couldn't find one. At least to some degree, that's true. And because that flopped, now they're looking to mend the fence with him because they feel like he's all they got in terms of being competitive. And that just, to me, speaks of sad desperation by the Bulls, and also can laugh at them for making such a stupid signing in the first place. And this whole Zach LaVine contract was a
Brick.
up with that contract, broil it.
Wait, Blake,
now
that was not you?
That was me.
DJ Nicky
Hey!
Steves. DJ Nicky Steves today, not me. I ain't DJing. That was very
Hey.
good. That was good timing on that one. I'll give you
I
credit.
love that one. That was great. That was great.
Seriously, though, this is sad and hilarious at the same time. Sad for the Bulls that you tried to trade away the one guy whose contract was holding you back. You couldn't, so now you're trying to get back on the same page with him. Please keep us relevant at least. Kind of.
Cassidy is awesome.
And now I know that's Blake.
I already deleted it. You can't
That's all I
delete it.
gotta say.
Yeah, that was good. I agree with Nikki on that.
You disagree with the brick.
But I'm also, like I'm saying, I'm playing the other side too. I mean, Zach LaVine could have a better season now. Who knows? You gotta leave that open.
Oh no. Kobe White is going to take a big leap.
I love Kobe White. Love.
I
him.
think Kobe White's going to take a huge leap. And Vucevic will still be going downward. So, Coach, how do you feel about this whole thing with Zach LaVine and the Bulls?
Flush it, man.
I don't have a
Flush
flush
it.
sound effect.
It's all
Beautiful.
BS. It's all BS, man. I mean,
Right.
you're in the NBA, no matter what, guys are going to whatever. You got the money, you got a contract, nobody else wants it in the league. As far as Zach LaVine, I mean, you have nowhere else to go. So both sides, pull up your big boy pants and handle your business and let's keep it going. Other than that, man, what I mean, you know, dude's getting what, 40 million a year, something around there?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. You know, and for the Bulls, you made your bed. Now it's time to lay in it. Yeah, Pat, I
forgot.
know.
I forgot he's a Bulls fan. I completely forgot.
Yeah, Pat.
I know AK is.
With LaVine, I mean, you guys said it. You know, really in terms of marketability. You know, okay, Kobe White could be your main point, but in terms of fans' perspective, fans are probably gravitating more to Zach LaVine dunk contest, his money that he makes. You know, I mean, it is what it is.
It's put up or shut up, like Coach is kind of alluding to. Now, LaVine, you don't have DeRozan, you don't have Ben Simmons. Like, there you go. Yeah, Ben Simmons, comeback player.
He's
I'm
actually
sorry,
tr-
but
No, that's good. I read it. That's classic, NYG.
that's a good one. That's a good one, bro.
You have fun with Simmons.
Hey, I said it
Or-
last year, NYG. That was my pick for comeback player of the year. This year, it's going to be Zion and Ja.
We'll do that probably next week.
Closer
We'll
to the
probably make
season.
those predictions next week.
Close-
So-
next week? When's the season
Or 2
start?
weeks or whenever.
Yeah, closer to the season.
Yeah, training camp is in what?
Once
3 weeks?
preseason and stuff. I want to be able to see the players first before I start judging.
Okay. Whatever.
Hey, we got we could do all time rebounds, all time we
Yeah.
all through all those still yet.
Oh yeah.
All right. So James Worthy says that Kevin Durant should be in the GOAT conversation.
Once again, so don't always take the opinion
What
of
am
one
I
of the
doing?
greats. He might be one of the greats, and I love James Worthy, and to him, listen, there's a lot of people that in this, I hate this GOAT conversation because there's no greatest of all time. All time's not over, number one. Number two, I get it. The younger people are going to think LeBron or Kobe because that's all they've seen. I have no problem with someone in their 20s or even in their 30s saying that they think Kobe or LeBron is the greatest of all time because that's who they've seen on TV the most. I get it. But people that are rocking it since the 70s and 80s like me and Coach, we have a conundrum because we got those greats of the 70s and 80s. Then we got Mike and the boys, and now we got the legends of now. It's not easy, but it's an opinion. It's an opinion. No one's ever greater than Michael Jordan, though. End of story. And I love KD. I think when he came out of Texas, he was that tall, skinny guy that just wasn't a tall, skinny guy. He went outside and shot three. He could juke you. He could cross you over. He did everything. I love Kevin Durant. I have no problem with him at all. And if he wants to call him the GOAT, then he can be his GOAT. Opinion.
No, a part belongs in the GOAT conversation. That's not a GOAT, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but what's the conversation? Is that 10 players? Is it 20? Is it 5?
Is it 69 players?
Is it 2? Is it just current players?
Well, here's the thing, though, because I think what he's saying for him, he belongs in the conversation. So each of us will have.
I didn't see that. He did say if you're talking like the top 7 guys, then he could be in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, again, it's belongs. See, the key word for me is belongs.
Agreed.
And then conversation. That's really all it is. It's a conversation. Does he belong there? In some people's opinions, yeah, they can. You can make a justifiable argument. Now there are going to be those who don't want to hear it, don't want to accept it, and they have every right, for whatever reason. So, for me, can you say he belongs in the conversation? Okay, but now the question is, like you said, Blaze, how many players are you going to include? How far back are you going to go? What do I always say? I never saw players play in the 50s and the 60s, but I still include them because I understand the magnitude and what they contributed to the game during that point in time. So, it's okay. It's a conversation. We're having a conversation now. So, do you want to include them? Why do you want to include them? A, B, C, D. Here's why do you don't want to include them? This is still a conversation. So there you go.
And you're right. I mean, look at what he said. Now that I read the whole thing, mid-range game, defense. He can shoot the 3. He can rebound, offense. So he does play everything. So I have no problem with him in the conversation. I really don't. I mean, granted, look, let's be real. If he would have found the right team right off the bat, he could have 5 or 6 rings right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he is one of the greats. Not a problem putting him in that conversation at all. Finding the right fit is very important nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how great you are, if you're not on the right team, you're not getting that ring. You might not even come close. You know what I'm saying? So
Nope.
it's good. It's great conversation. I'm glad you brought this in, Mitch, because it does spurn, like Coach says, good conversation, good debate.
Yes.
The only thing is that I hate when you use the word GOAT. If you use greatest or the favorite or your best, I just, Muhammad Ali said it first. He's the one who coined the phrase. He started it. I get it. I just, like we always talk about, comparing different eras is so tough because the game has changed so much. But once again, go back to opinion. Everyone's entitled to that.
There's only one greatest of all time, and he has a tattoo, and his name is LL Cool J. Let me stop.
Yeah, on the mic. Yeah. He will tell you that too.
Oh, well.
And he's bad.
Don't let's come back.
And Mama did say knock him out too.
Yeah. So, Nikki, how do you feel about this, man? Kevin Durant, GOAT conversation?
That's excuse me. That's a tough one because GOAT, you're talking amongst the greatest of all time. You got to also include guys like Bill, Will, and those guys as well. Now, I think is Kevin Durant in the discussion for one of the all-time greats? Oh, 100%. But if you're talking the greatest of all time, it's a little bit tough to compare him to some of the other guys that get the GOAT recognitions. Like, the MJs, Bills, Wilt, Kareem, LeBrons, and those guys. With all due respect to KD, but he is one of the all-time greats. When you talk greatest NBA players of all time, you got to include Kevin Durant in the discussion, obviously, like him or not.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And his
There's
greatness
one
showed-
thing that hurts him in the GOAT conversation. There's one thing. Blowing a 3-1 lead. I think that like destroyed, and then
that's a team thing. Did he blow it by himself or did the team?
I mean, he's part of the team. Yes.
Yeah.
So
So the team as a whole blew it, and he does take part of the blame. That's how I see it.
Anybody who averages 27 points a game in their career got to be in a conversation as
and
one of
then
the
people
great
would hate him for joining the Warriors. They still hate him to this day for that.
I didn't at all. I mean, I get it why people are like, you're trying to jump on a team that's already great and stuff, but he still had to play. He still had to mesh. He still had to be a part of the team. So, I mean, I get both sides of that. I really do.
But that's the problem with sports
on
in
your own.
general, because I don't want to say the problem, but the goal is to always get championships.
Yes.
It's always about getting in the number of championships. I mean, for example, everyone talks to me about and says in football, it's Tom Brady because he has XYZ championships. And I always say the same thing, but he has 3 losses. But if you want to say the greatest, Joe Montana has no losses and he has multiple championships. Because I also
Same
look
with
at
Michael
percentage.
Jordan.
Exactly. So
And Bradshaw does, and I would not even put him in the conversation of the greatest quarterback of all time. He was just on a phenomenal team from top to bottom who dominated. So yeah, I get it. That's you got to. There's so many pieces to the puzzle when you talk about greatest of anything.
All right,
It's the
great
teams,
point.
the era. you talk about
I
opinion or what?
want to actually bring this up
Referring to the
because
original
I
team
agree
as
with him.
well.
I have him in like top 15, top 20. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having KD in top
Pat,
15,
don't
top
open the
20.
door.
think he
You
would
might
be
on
too.
here. Pat, you might open the door. You're gonna be on here, Pat. Let's go. Let's go,
No,
bro.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree.
No, I know.
yeah.
Agree. I mean, and again,
You're just mad because he didn't do nothing for the Nets. Come on. He couldn't bring a ring to your Nets. Come on, and I love you, NYC, but let's be real. Once again, if you're talking to a 25 or 30-year-old guy, they're more than likely are going to put him in the top 20 because they've seen him for most of their, their life and stuff too. So I get it. I mean, he's a great. He's done it with multiple teams too. It's not. I mean, ideally, back in the day, coach, you go to one team, you're staying on that one team for most of your career, whether they're good or not. You got to try to make them better. But the times have changed. Times have changed.
All right. Here. Yeah. Okay. You
Look.
want to send me a link, Coach?
sure, I got it.
Go for it.
I will say this: KD, when he came out into Texas,
You're
see, a
projecting.
lot of, and this is the thing: a lot of younger fans don't even know this, that KD actually did not start with Oklahoma City. They
He
won't
started
even
with the
know that.
Seattle
And
Supersonics.
it was exactly so.
Hey, he might play for them again before his career's over.
Please, man.
Can you imagine if that actually happened?
Outside of the Lakers and the Knicks, that they were probably one of my favorite
But
franchises.
NYG, if you take him off of Phoenix, if you take him off of the Thunder, those teams are a lot worse. They might not have won the ring because only one team wins it. And I get where you're going with it. He didn't do anything for your Nets either, so you're just throwing other teams into conversation. But take him off of any of those teams, and they're a lot worse. Yeah.
Well, he was. Come on, NYG. He was a
He got
rookie.
drafted
He
there.
got drafted there, and he was there 1 year. 1 year before
He
they
won
changed
rookie.
the
No,
game.
wait. Didn't he win Rookie of the Year?
I believe so. Hold a minute. Did he win?
I think he won Rookie of the Year. Am I wrong?
I think he did.
Here, Coach, you want to bring him in? Go for it.
Yeah, I got it. What's up, bro? What's up, Pat? How are you, man?
What's going
What up,
on,
man?
fellas? Money making Mitch. What's going on?
Hey,
I like
been a
that.
while.
was
man.
rookie
How
of the
you
year,
been?
20 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2.4 assists. Rookie of the year, 2007, 2008.
Seattle- he was
NYG,
at
you got
Seattle.
nothing on that now. He won Rookie of the Year in Seattle.
I just want them Sonics uniforms back. They were so dope. I want those
Yeah.
back, man.
Man,
Too bad Portland took Greg Oden. Unfortunately, his knees gave out on him. during that draft. But
Uh,
are
it
you
sucks with
guys
Greg
really
Oden.
considering Kevin Durant as a GOAT? As one of the GOATs of the NBA? That's what you guys
conversation.
consider?
The conversation.
I'm just saying, are you
That's
guys
nice, Blake. I
considering
like
it?
that.
Like, are you considering putting them up there?
If you go in, you put in the conversation. See, the thing with me is the word conversation.
Yeah, doesn't mean
So
he's in it.
that's all it is. Is can
So
you make an argument?
So conversation would be like around what, top 10?
That's what we're saying.
What did word
He
you say?
said 7. He said
Where
if
did he
you're
say
talking,
top 7?
he said 7, which he'd probably
Top
love it.
Okay, I
seven.
would not have him in the top 7. I'll
No,
have him
because
like
I'm going to
15 to
bring,
20.
you know, I
I
got
can-
Magic,
I
Kareem,
can-
and old school
I
guys
can-
in there.
I can name 20 players right now if you wanted me to, that I'll take ahead of Kevin Durant in a GOAT conversation.
Okay, and that's fair. That's a fair argument.
is
but
fair.
the whole
Now,
thing
do you
is,
want to hear those 20?
I can name them.
Go
I
ahead-
can
go
name
ahead.
20 and 25 too.
Go ahead if you want to name
first
20.
of all, he's gonna say Michael Jordan because he's a Chicago
Yeah.
Bull fan. So
Jordan, you got Jordan,
yeah.
you got Kobe, you got LeBron,
Okay.
you got Olajuwon, you got Duncan,
Mm-hmm.
you got Bird, you got Magic,
Mhm.
you got did I say the Dream already?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You got David Robinson,
Mhm.
Charles Barkley, Shaq, Wilt, Kareem.
Mhm.
There's a Kareem. I was
big-
waiting
the
for
big
that.
O.
one.
Yep, the big
Oscar
O. Yep,
Robertson,
the big
Okay.
O.
Dr. J.
I'm waiting to hear the one.
I was
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was getting ready to say Dr. J. You right on point, Blaze.
Okay. And
Dr. J.
you're forgetting one big one.
I know I'm forgetting one big one. That's why I'm shaking. my head. I
11,
know.
11 chips. I'm gonna make it easy for you.
Russell.
Yeah, Russell.
Okay.
You got Russell. You got,
11 rings.
To be honest with you, I got Karl Malone.
Yes. That's
Karl
fair.
Malone was better.
I like
Um,
on the court. On the
Karl
court.
Malone-
I'm just
on the
saying on
court.
the
now,
court, people.
now off the court, he's one of the worst.
Yeah, KD
Yeah.
is a
To
little
be
more
honest with
versatile
you,
though.
To be
Karl
honest
Malone
with
was a
you,
bully, but he couldn't shoot the 3. He couldn't juke you with the
It's
ball.
a different game too. It's a different game.
Yeah, I know.
Different,
But
I know.
yeah.
I know
let me
nobody
be
shot
real.
the 3 back then.
let me be real. A lot of people gonna sneeze their nose at this, but I got Pippen. I think Pippen was better.
That's debatable. You can
Yeah,
say
Pippen
that.
did-
That's
do shit
debatable.
without
But I
Michael.
think
He didn't do anything
People
without
didn't do
Mike.
shit
Well,
without
You
Mike.
KD
crazy
didn't really
with the,
do.
with the Trailblazers, and he took the Bulls to the Eastern Conference Finals without Jordan. What you mean?
Did he
he took
win?
the
He has
Bulls to
no
the Eastern
accolades without. He had no All-Stars, no MVPs, no nothing. Their
Yes,
teams
he
were
did.
good. Their teams were good.
He had
Wait a
an
minute.
All-Star without Michael Jordan.
I
He
thought
had
he
an
had an
All-Star
all-star
with the
with
Portland.
Portland.
too.
Didn't he have all-star? I thought he had an
Yes.
all-star with Portland.
I would put him in the conversation if he's there. I mean, I'm
Oh.
not
Curry,
disagreeing.
I was getting ready to say that.
Jerry
too.
West.
That's
Yeah.
what
I was gonna say
forgetting.
Curry.
Curry,
I was gonna
Jerry
say Curry.
West.
Jerry
Well,
West.
Okay. Now I'm gonna really throw a wrench in there. If you throwing all these in there, I haven't heard anybody say George Mikan. Because
Oh,
during
You go
his
back-
time,
you go back far enough.
George Mikan. That's a
he
good one.
was the most
I'm gonna
dominant
give
player.
you another one. Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, I can't put him
Okay.
over Isaiah Thomas.
So, and
But
that's
see,
about
here's
20.
the thing we're doing, Pat. We're having it. That's the point. Is what
He's
Worthy
in the
is saying.
conversation.
He's in the You're making art. You're making valid points. But the point is, he's in the conversation. That's how I'm taking Worthy's words.
So I went to Google, my go-to, and type in NBA greatest of all time, and 20 names. come up.
NYG, stop being all
And
upset.
here's the 20 names. And these 20 names are all the ones that Pat just said, pretty much. We got
Mhm.
Mike, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Russell, Wilt, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, Duncan, Hakeem, Oscar Robinson, Steph Curry, Karl Malone, Moses Malone, which we didn't say. He could be in there.
I said
Jerry
Moses
West,
Malone.
Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Julius Irving.
Oh, he's
and-
not better than Dirk either.
And Kevin Durant is one of the 20. So he's in the conversation. I wouldn't put him in my top 10 or 7 either, Pat. I'm with you. But he's in the conversation for some people.
And he's
But
not
that-
better than Dirk. I'm sorry, he's not better than Dirk.
Wait,
And
can
that's-
you,
that-
was
that's-
Iverson in that conversation? Iverson in not named
Ooh.
I put him ahead of Iverson only because
the rings. Yep.
not the rings. Iverson does the same thing Kevin Durant did, but Durant does it better, and he's a bigger player. I think he just has more of an impact on the team.
That's why I don't like comparing eras, though, man. When
Yeah.
Michael played, so different from when Jordan
Yeah,
played,
that's what-
from so different till now. It's the game is so different.
I'm not saying Mike would dominate now, but what
He'd
I'm
be in the
saying is
conversation
for
to some
his
people, yeah.
era, he was the most dominant player during his era.
When you coach basketball to a big man, there's a thing called the Mikan drill. It is based on him, and it does make you a better post player. So yes, I agree, and this is a great conversation, and this is why the debate is so good, because you can take different eras, you can take different ideals, and depending on how old the person is, you may get a completely different list, and that's fair. I love this conversation, but I just don't like to use the word GOAT. And you know what word is even stupider? Goated. That makes no sense.
But the point is, we all know the GOAT stands for greatest of all time. We know that's subjective. We get it.
It's very subjective.
You
But
know,
it's Mike.
but
It's not. It's Michael Jordan.
and
That's a fact. That's
but
a
see,
fact, man.
everyone says Michael Jordan. Why? Because of what he won, and that's why I would say if that's the case,
offense, rebounding, steals. He's on the steals list. We're about.
A
to
lot of
talk
people
about.
got that
Bill-
case with Bill Russell. If you want
Bill
to base
Russell
it on ring.
didn't score. He didn't score because
But
he had those around him. He said, "You guys do it." When he was coming out of San Francisco, he was a scoring machine.
But
You
the
talk
thing
to-
is, Coach.
Good.
Oh, my bad, Blaze. Go
You
ahead.
know,
go
you're
ahead,
talking
brother.
to a kid who's 22 years old. He's probably going to
Yes.
say LeBron.
No, I get
Yeah.
it. You're
Because
right.
that's who he's seen. You know, so it's very subjective, but it's a great
But
conversation.
the
Go ahead, Matt.
the reason why I put Jordan over Bill Russell when it comes to the GOAT conversation is because of the impact Jordan had on the NBA.
And
He's
on and off.
single-handedly the greatest impact the NBA has ever seen. He took it global, and
Can't
that's a
argue.
fact.
Can't disagree.
When
And
Mike
right
got
behind-
big, remember, people were talking about the NBA failing at that time.
Mhm.
NBA ain't gonna make it because Bird and Magic and Doctor are gone, and the game it wasn't changing, it wasn't evolving. The game might die. I
Right.
think Jordan saved it.
And those years with the Pistons and Magic Johnson, Bird, and Dr. J, they saved it, but Jordan just took it to a whole another level, and nobody's ever got close to that. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? Not even LeBron has gotten close to what Jordan did.
Now,
for the
in
NBA.
longevity, I give LeBron a little bit of a nod because he's still doing it after all these years at a high level. So I got respect for that. I don't like the flopping and the crying and the bullshit, but I do give him a little
You
bit.
mean you
I
don't
put
like
him
the
in-
let me ask you.
vocabulary?
Let me ask you this question, Blaze, because
and I'm not a LeBron fan, by the way. At this point.
I like you. I like you a lot. Pause. But I like you a lot. You
See,
basketball.
I'm not the only one who does
I
it.
try to be, and I respect everyone's opinion too, because that's what it's all about. It, like Coach said, it's
But
subjective.
You talk about the longevity with LeBron. Let me ask you this, and this is totally subjective. Do you think LeBron will be able to do what he did in the era where Jordan and them were play those 20 years like that?
I don't know, because if there was no Michael Jordan, there would be no LeBron James.
But I'm just saying, just
disagree.
put him in that era. No, I think LeBron James would have been LeBron James regardless.
Yeah.
I think he's just that
same with
that
Kobe.
good of a
Mike set the
yes.
standard. Kobe would have still been a player, and so would have LeBron, but I don't know if it'd have been the same. Mike set that standard and
What,
really
like,
just changed the game.
Let's
It would
just
be
say
different. No, I don't think he would last, 20, how many years now?
20.
Mitch, has
Let's
he been
just
playing?
say he got drafted in 84. I think Jordan got drafted in 84.
I don't think so. No, because you don't have the science that they have now on
Facts.
how he.
I
how
don't know if he
takes
gets
care of
that
his
longevity
body.
back then.
No, he wouldn't. No, I'm with you. You're right. That's a great point.
What does he
You
always
take
do? He
anybody,
sleeps-
you take Mike in and put him in today's world, like NYG was saying. Mike get his
And
ass
Mike-
beat around. You know, he can't shoot a three. You take
Imagine like Victor
What?
Wembanyama back
You
in the
said
day.
Jordan couldn't shoot a three?
no.
No,
I
he
said
said
Mike.
Mikan, George
George
Mikan.
Mike.
Oh,
Mikan.
George
George
Mikan.
Mikan.
Oh, I
But,
thought you
yeah.
said Jordan could
No,
shoot
no,
a
no,
three.
no,
I
no, I
said,
didn't.
shoot,
Mike-
Jordan could have
George-
shot a three anytime he
I'm
felt
sorry.
like it.
Mike and sounds close, so I get you. But no, you take LeBron and put him in Michael Jordan's era. He probably wouldn't have lasted as long. He might have had to stay with the same team instead of bouncing around. There was no super teams. There was no taking my talents.
Mhm.
You know, so it's very different. Yeah, when you, it's like three different eras: the time before Magic and all them, the Magic era with them and Mike, and then the current era. You know, it's so different. But I love the conversation because to me, basketball is the greatest sport in the world. You're not wearing pads. You're always running. I mean, and you can get arguments for other sports too, but that's my favorite. And there's a lot of reasons why, because
I think
these
it's
are
the greatest showman
gladiators.
sport.
Yes, they have no pads, no, I mean, no
Nothing.
helmets. And it's a contact sport, whether you want to say it is or not. Yeah, has it changed with how you can dribble the ball and how you can shoot and the things you can get away with and complain to the refs? Yeah, it's changed a lot, but it's still my favorite sport. And it's the most exciting sport from start to finish, no doubt.
Yeah, it's the best showman sport out there. I mean,
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
it's the best showman sport out there. But my opinion, the greatest sport is football, because I believe it's the greatest team sport. Like, you have to be a team in order to win in football. Baseball, you can dominate by yourself.
And when you think of the
Basketball, you can
gladiators of the past that fought, that's what I think of football. I don't think about, I think of football. They're the gladiators of today. Because
But
they are taking a beating. Consistent.
Basketball is definitely the most showman sport, but they're taking it a little to the extreme with basketball. And players like Jokic, I don't believe would have been that great back then either. I believe he was too slow and he's not that strong. I think somebody like Arvydas Sabonis would have ate his lunch. But
I got
it
a
is
question
what it
for you
is.
guys. I got a question, because we're saying he would have never lasted 20 years, but I can think of, and I'm trying to think, didn't Kevin Willis and Robert Parrish play over 20 years or play 20 years?
Parrish played a long time.
Yeah, but they
Parrish played
weren't
a while.
the main guy, and they didn't
Yeah.
play like LeBron. See, LeBron,
And they were willing to take a
goes
less
to the
role.
whole-
But they were playing in a more physical era because they played down
Yeah,
low.
but they were big men. They weren't trying to drive it to the hole like LeBron would.
But see,
I-
LeBron's
Hit
still
by
the
those
man
big
on
men.
his team now. When Parrish last couple of years, he was a supplement. He was there to continue playing. He wasn't the main man like he was.
I
So,
got you.
but those I give respect to those players to take a back seat and say, you know what, if I want to play another 5 years, I might be coming off the bench. I might not get as much playing time. I'm not the number one guy. And that's how you can extend your career, by taking a lesser role.
And I just based that LeBron not playing 20 years in that era based on his style of play. Now, if he had a style of play where he had his back to the basket like Jordan and them had and everything like that, then yeah, I think he would. Because I think Melo would have lasted back then with his style of play. Melo's style of play was conducive to any era. But LeBron, he's like literally driving to the hole like a tank. And you're not doing that to people like Anthony Mason, the Dale Davis brothers, the Celtics in the 80s, the 76ers in the 80s. Like, they were punishing you down there.
Parrish was 21 years he played. 76 to 90, 97.
Yeah, Robert Parrish was the dude. And Jordan lasted because he got stronger. And he was just more elusive than LeBron when he was going to the hole. And he had a whole, like, LeBron to this day still can't create a shot like a Jordan or Melo or somebody like that. He still can't do that. And you can debate me on that if you want. We can go to the film and show you that he can't do like people how to get to a certain spot and take your shot and get away from contact and things of such. So it's debatable. Would he still would have been great? I think he still would have been great. I just don't think he would be doing what he's doing now.
Coach, you want to reply to that, to NYG?
I don't know. I do think LeBron could play 20 years in the era. I just do.
I do too, but I think his last 5 years or so wouldn't be like it is now.
The thing is, though, everyone compares him to Jordan, and that's the thing. I don't compare him to Jordan. He's not. He's more closer to Magic for me than he is Jordan.
Yep.
Size, handle, basketball IQ. Now, the creativity, like Pat is saying, because LeBron will bully you because he's bigger and stronger than pretty much everyone. So I get it.
The only difference with
just
Magic
just like we're saying,
Magic and LeBron comparison is
just like everyone's saying, well, he will get hammered. You can cut the light off. Just like he can get hammered. Well, LeBron is strong. You don't think he's going to hammer back too? I mean, come on, literally. This guy also closed it completely.
Dude, he'd have been bitching at every single play in the 80s.
Man, what?
He wouldn't him.
I don't think he would have had the mentality to go down there like that, Coach.
But Magic didn't play above the rim like LeBron did. That's the only difference I would say. But
Yes.
the other thing, LeBron's blocking people's balls off the basketballs off the back of the backboard, and he's dunking on heads, which Magic was a little more smooth with the rock.
I don't think he
controlling
would
the pace of
have.
the game.
I don't think LeBron will have the mentality that he has now back in the day. I think they would
Because there was no Mike before him. If we're being real, we got steals to talk about, Mitch. We got to talk about those steals.
Yeah, top 5 in steals all time. Nikki, let's start off with you, bro.
Are we talking about like top 5 favorite players or like?
This
That's
is a lot
players.
easier than last week. We're all going to pretty much have the same list.
We're
No,
all
no.
gonna have
Should.
the same.
No,
Yeah.
you're not.
Should.
No, you won't
Oh.
have mine. You won't
I
have
know
mine.
you'll go deeper, but
I mean,
I'll bring up a. But go ahead, Nikki. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean,
All
we
right,
got
Nikki,
Michael
who you got?
Jordan's one of them. I mean, we know, he's made a few amazing plays himself. He's had some infamous steals, and he was just a great all-around player. So obviously, Michael Jordan's one of them. So I'm just kind of going what order comes in my head. I'm not actually
Go ahead.
ranking them
That's good.
in name. Another one's Jason Kidd was another good one. Of course, LeBron. Who else?
All right.
Of course, Hakeem. There's another one. You got to give nods. I'll say he gives nods to Scottie Pippen. Even a few honorable mentions. You got guys like, Mo Cheeks is an honorable mention, of course. Then, here's another one who was more known for his offensive game, but John Stockton. He could make steals too.
You got me
Most
there.
steals of
Yeah,
all
that was
time.
my guy.
He's the most steals of all time, so he's number 1.
Right? People remember him mainly as an offensive player, though. That's the thing. Like when you think,
Let me know.
I'm
when
looking
you're
at
ready
the
for
numbers
Steals of
now.
all time.
Let me know when you're ready
I'm
for
looking at
mine.
the numbers now. 3,265 steals to Jason Kidd, 2,684.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, though. I have issues with that list.
Okay.
'Cause I know the list you're talking about, but
Here,
you ready
look
for
at this
mine?
one.
You ready for mine, Mitch?
Go for it.
Yeah. Let me
Go
know
ahead.
when you're ready. I'll share mine.
Oh, good. Let me
All right.
get mine out of here. My bad.
No. And I have an honorable mention on there too for you.
Oh, see, me and Coach thinking the same thing.
They didn't classify stats when Oscar Robertson and Walt Clyde
Sure
Frazier
wasn't.
there
73,
you go.
and that's what year I was born. So, yep.
Mhm.
So you're over.
Oscar Robertson and Walt Clyde Frazier were beasts
Yeah.
at stealing the ball, and they would literally take it right out of your pocket. Seriously. So that's why for me it's Robertson and Walt Clyde Frazier 1 and 2. Gary Payton, come on,
I like
the
it.
glove.
Glove.
He was called the glove for
Yeah,
a
he's called the
reason.
glove.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stockton, he's the all-time in NJ, and Maurice Cheeks with the Sixers got on the gosh darn nerves with the amount of steals he used to get with the Sixers, man.
Yep.
So those are my top 5 with my honorable mention. So
All
there
right.
you have it.
Blaze, you want to go?
Yeah. So I attacked this from a couple of ways, just like I did last week. So
Paul?
we'll go with the all-time steals list. NBA and ABA, and NBA. So on the right is the NBA. That's going to be my 5. Stockton, Kidd, Chris Paul, Jordan, and Peyton. Yes, there's a lot of argument for others. Look at the ABA. Look who's number 2, Dr. J.
Mhm.
I just love the name Fatty Taylor, to be honest, man. You got to give it up for anybody named Fatty Taylor,
Right.
Ralph
when you
Sampson.
So when you combine, that's Simpson, not Samson.
Oh, Simpson.
Now, let's take a different look at it, just like I did last week. The real way, because you have to take into consideration how many games they played, how many years they played. So this is steals per game. We talked about Michael Ray Richardson in the past,
Oh, I
Coach.
forgot about
Michael Ray Richardson averaged 2.63 a game.
And Alvin Robinson, yes. Mhm.
And Alvin Robinson, the most 2.71 per game. Like if someone only didn't play as many, you got to put Mookie Blaylock and Fat
the
Lever
Nets,
in
yeah.
this
Yeah,
conversation.
YG
people
loves
forget
that.
about Mookie.
Yeah, we did.
Stockton has the most for the longest, but he's 8th overall in average per game. So the top 5 for me would be the 5 that you see, the
Mhm.
Stockton kid, Paul Jordan, and Peyton. However, you can't discredit those who played maybe not as long, maybe not as great, but this was their thing. Alvin Robertson, Michael Ray, and Jordan 2.35 a game. Stockton has the most overall, but Jordan averaged more steals per game than Stockton. So that means a lot to me. And just one last thing I wanted to share was we have to talk about this conversation. Who's doing it now? These are the winners of the most steals per game in the last few years. OG with 1.9. No one averaged 2 or more steals last year. You got DeJounte Murray, who we don't talk about a lot, but he can steal the ball.
We got
Butler.
NYG's favorite player, Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons led the league in steals per game one year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Paul George, Oladipo, he was a
Oh, we got-
thievery. He could steal. Steph even led the league one year. And Chris Paul, this is why he's in my top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years he led. You can say Iverson, look, 2.8. Iverson averaged almost 3 steals a game one
Iverson
year.
is in my top 5.
And Larry Hughes, he played for the Sixers for a little bit too.
Aaron Davis. I forgot about
2.9. So these are the ones over the last 23 years who were the best. And it doesn't have to be this is such a stat that I think can change the game that is not talked about enough. You hear about scoring, obviously, and rebounding and assists, but steals takes the ball from the defense and gives it to your team. That's invaluable to me. So if you have a player that's not necessarily a perennial all-star, but can do this for you, they are super valuable. And that had to be a part of this conversation when it comes to the steals. You don't talk about it enough because think about it. We're talking about players that score 30 points a game. You're only talking about, look at that numbers, 1 or 2 a game. That's like blocks we talked about last week. Someone averaged 3 or more blocks a game. That's phenomenal. People even over 2 steals a game is really good. That means they had some games where they were getting 5 or 6, or they had a triple double and they had 10 steals. It's very rare it happens, but it has happened. That's why I'm glad we got to talk about this for sure. And I wanted to delve into the numbers a little deeper because that's what I think.
Yep. And then for next week, I got one for next week. But yeah. So the thing with Iverson, though, he was mostly blocking the passing lanes. Like he would just swoop in and just take it all the way to the rack. That was the
That's
thing
a
I
good
like.
point, Mitch. Different types of steals. Is it a steal where you're poking the ball out and taking it, or is it a steal where you stepped in front of a pass and intercepted it for a steal? So there are 2 different types of steals.
Or inbound.
Really?
Both are very,
Inbound too.
Very important. Both are very important. But fellas, money making Mitch, Blaze, Nikki, Coach. Appreciate you guys letting me on.
Before you go, Pat, who's your top? Who's your steals? Your top steals?
Top steals, people. I gotta go Gary Payton, Scottie Pippen, Jordan, Mo Cheeks, the Big O, and like I said, Coach. People forget about Clyde Frazier. And I forgot about Mookie too.
Yeah, me too.
I forgot about Mookie. Yeah.
Mookie Blaylock. Yeah.
But I still
That's
put those
awesome.
guys ahead of Mookie. But man, this was dope, man. Y'all keep doing this, man. NBA history
course,
going
man.
on in here.
We love
I
it.
know a lot about ball, man. I can chill with you guys, talk some NBA.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
Always
you. Love
welcome to
it.
pop on. Always welcome to join us and talk hoops.
All right, got you, Mitch. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
So MYG has all Nets players for his top 5, I'm guessing.
I forgot to tell Pat. Thank you for Saquon.
Oh,
But-
geez.
Hey, stop it, man. Stop it.
You
Stop
guys
it.
know a little fact about Mookie Blaylock? Do you know
What?
that the original name for Pearl Jam, the band, was Mookie Blaylock? They named it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the Pearl Jam's band was originally called Mookie Blaylock. They're big basketball fans. And Pearl Jam, think about it. Earl the Pearl is who they're named after.
Guys, I got to get going a little bit early.
All right, Nikki.
We're about to
Yeah, a
close
lot of
up
people
shop.
don't know that.
All right,
you know,
so yeah.
that
I'll catch y'all.
Mookie Blaylock was Pearl Jam's original band name.
Catch y'all later.
Didn't know that.
And
Yeah.
that's what the number 10. The number 10. Mookie
Mhm.
Number 10 is their first album is called 10 because
Mhm.
not only because they had 10 songs, because they're big fans of those players.
So, I thought you were saying.
We can do that
you're
thing
good?
I had next week. with the off-season pickups.
Yeah.
That's Mitch got to get that in there.
Hey, 3 touchdowns. I'm fine with it.
And what happened to the Eagles at the end of last year?
Yeah.
Hope they don't
There
do
you
it this
go.
year.
I picked you guys to beat the Eagles. I picked the Steelers to beat the Eagles this year.
Whatever. We'll save that
So
for the NBA Pick'em show and the Sunday morning show. Make sure you guys tune in right here on the Hardcore Sports Network.
Yep. I just want to give a shout out to Nikki. He's going to be hosting the Pick'ems today on the Hardcore Sports Network at 8 o'clock. It will be him, Sports Rap, Mac the Giants fan, and Tymus. So they'll be making their picks, and everyone can join in and just make their picks for the week. And yeah, so other than that, you guys can hit that like, hit that sub, hit that notification bell. And I just want to say this, thoughts and prayers to everybody who goes out to everybody who was affected by this day all those years ago. So just want to get that out there as
all the
well.
first responders and families and everyone that was associated with it, but definitely a huge tragedy, and we must remember and become better people. Definitely.
Yeah. Coach, you got anything to say about 9/11?
It's always been a challenge for me because, while I didn't have anybody personally, when you talk about it, I still remember the day vividly. I was working at Verizon, and I was actually on a call and talking to a lady, and she just screamed out, "Oh my gosh, a plane just flew into the tower." So, I'm thinking, okay, I wasn't thinking a big plane. I'm thinking a little, plane, because I've seen it before. Somebody, a single engine. And then, later on she says, "Oh my gosh, another one." So, and then our whole building, people were talking about it. And I had people, one of my tub mates, as we called it back then, her husband worked in the tower. So, and she's freaking out, and I'm trying to keep her calm. And it was just hard. So, and this day is always one of those moments. So shout out my prayers and thoughts to everyone involved.
Let's hope that our country never has to go through something like that again. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bringing it
our
up.
crew, I was in first grade when that happened.
Yeah, I was also working. I was working that day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing?
Gateway. I was driving to work. I drove an hour from where I live to Monroeville, Pennsylvania, right outside of Pittsburgh, working for Gateway Computers. I was a manager, so I had to be there real early. And I was listening to Howard Stern the whole way there. And I'll never forget, Pamela Anderson was on that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I was listening. It was hilarious. And then I got out of the car and didn't know it happened. It literally happened as I walked from my car to work. Because when we went in, we had this big display of this huge computer with a big TV. And as I walked by, I saw a building on fire. And then that's when we all learned about it. And then there was a plane that was flying near Pittsburgh, the one that crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And we all had to go home. They didn't know what was going to happen. So it was like the world is in panic. And just like COVID was a terrible situation, hopefully we learn from the pandemic. We learn from, terrorist activity, and we can protect our country so that it never happens again. But, definitely prayers and everything goes out to anybody affected by it. And let's hope that never happens again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And happy early birthday, Arku.
Happy birthday, Arku.
Happy early birthday. So, yes, guys, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. NFCE's Real Deal Roundup. I know I can't say it like Mac.
Roundup! He got the roundup!
With
There you go.
Mac,
That's
the
Merle.
Giants fan, and Adam Kostis. That is live on the network right now. And then the Pick'ems later on at 8 o'clock. We got AEW tonight with Earl and Sarah. A lot of stuff going down on the Hardcore Sports Network tonight. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. And on that note, we are out. Catch you guys later. Have a good rest of your night, and peace.